My name is Brian Nierney and I am the Project Director for Northwest Cambridge. Since 2013, the Northwest Cambridge development have been building phase one of the development, the area known as Eddington. Eddington opened in 2017 and is the heart of the new residential community. Unprecedented in scale and ambition, Eddington is a new place complete with award-winning community facilities which are open to the wider community to enjoy. Phase 2 will build on this legacy, focusing on providing more essential housing in the area. The development is ultimately set to have 1,500 homes for university and college staff, 1,500 private houses for sale and accommodation for up to 2,000 postgraduates. Discussions for Phase 2 are now underway with the university planning infrastructure for Phase 2. Phase 2 is in South Cambridgeshire, to the west and north of Eddington, reaching further up Huntingdon Road and down to the land behind the Maddenley Road Park and Ride. The Phase 2 infrastructure does not contain any plans for the housing in Phase 2. It looks at the new road junctions on Huntingdon Road and within the development, extending the parkland already at Eddington and creating communal outdoor facilities such as sports areas and play areas. We are undertaking this consultation to share with you the plans for Phase 2 infrastructure and to take any comments you may have on board. You can find full details on how to submit comments to us on the boards and information below.
Turning firstly to the open spaces and to Brookley's Parklands, this is a significant piece of new open space designed for both new residents and for the existing community. And designed in a way that extends the sort of naturalistic and ecological approach that has been delivered as part of Phase 1. It will include areas for play, walking and cycling, significant amounts of new ecological planting from wetlands to meadow to woodlands. We'll see a mixture of different ecological habitats, wet and dry meadows, species-rich grasslands. We've been working very closely with the university's ecologists to design those habitats to target particular species. You see enhancements to the Washpit Brook, which is retained, and the existing vegetation along it retained, as well as a number of new lagoons which sit between the built form and the earth mounding up against the motorway. It also incorporates a piece of public art, and the landform is very much a sort of sculpted landform rising up to the west to provide that sort of buffer against the road. We think this will be a really lovely new resource for residents and for the community, something for everybody to enjoy. Turning next to the green corridors. So in Phase 1, the first green corridor was delivered. Phase 2 delivers 5 new green corridors, and these connect the Brookley's Parklands with sort of like green fingers back into the built-up areas. They incorporate a number of sort of sustainable drainage features, swales and rain gardens, but also they really are a linear park that can be used for people to relax and sit and enjoy, for cycling and walking. And the images on the board here you can see show a view up one of the green corridors looking from Cartwright Avenue, the new primary road through the development, up towards the Ridgeway, showing the network of paths that would be going through the green corridors, the connection down to Brookley's and the sort of rain garden running through there, and the approach at Cartwright Avenue where the pedestrians will have traffic calmed raised table to cross over the primary road down to the western edge. Moving on then to the sports pitches and allotment area, which are clustered together in the south of the site. They will be delivering 2.6 hectares of allotments. It's around 100 plots, depending on how you mark it out. There'll be a number of raised beds near the entrance for those people that are less able or find a level plot hard to deal with. They will also have ancillary features such as watering troughs so you can water your plants, tracks so you can access and there'll be a toilet available for allotment users in the sports building. Then turning to the sports cluster, the image shows you the overview of the arrangement here. A key component of this is going to be the delivery of a 3G pitch. So it's an all-weather pitch that will be lit and will be bookable for everybody to book and use. There will also be a full-size grass pitch and 2 five-a-side pitches to the north of that. There will be 4 multi-use games areas paired together, which are primarily for ball sports such as netball or tennis. There will also be a small parking area, and then you can see the plan there also for the sports changing facilities, which have been designed by the same architect that designed all the other utility buildings through phase 1, Robin Lee. It's a 6-room changing facility with some reception facilities changing for officials with an accessible WC. Moving on to the public realm, so the spaces that are within the built development, we've got a number of different spaces and streets and focal spaces that we will be delivering as part of these works. So starting, first of all with the primary street, Cartwright Avenue. Now this is 1.2 kilometres of new primary street that's being delivered as part of the development. It's wider than a traditional street, so that it can incorporate very, very generous verges, planting of large-scaled trees. It incorporates cycleways and footways on both sides, and it will be traffic calmed all the way along, so it's only 20 miles per hour with level crossings for pedestrians at those key junctions with the green corridors. In addition to that, there will be a secondary street network, the continuation of Milne Avenue, and also the completion of the permanent ridgeway from Bunkers Hill to Eddington, which will be pedestrian and cycle priority, with a number of new public spaces along the way. There will also be an extension to the existing cycleway on Huntington Road, which will be delivered to link Bunkers Hill with the new junction. So you can see the imagery on this board shows the view of Cartwright Avenue. It also shows one of the little focal spaces on the ridgeway, showing one of the little neighbourhood spaces that sit along this sort of pedestrian and cycle street. Been doing a lot of lesson learning from phase 1, and one of the things we're very keen to do in phase 2 is to deliver cycle priority across the secondary road junction, and then there's a view there of the new Huntington Road junction.
The new junction on Huntington Road, all designed to adoptable standards. We've done some trial hole investigations on the site to determine where the utilities are. It will have cycle and pedestrian facilities to make sure that people can safely use the junction. And there is the provision of a new cycleway linking this junction on Huntington Road down to the new Bunkers Hill access into the phase 1 site.
So turning to sustainability, Eddington is exemplary in its approach to sustainable design, and phase 2 will build on the good work that has already been undertaken in phase 1. We will be continuing the site-wide district heating network, continuing with the approach for the underground bins and the recycling system as established in phase 1.
The other utilities within the development, such as electricity and the district heating, continue on from those networks that were installed in phase 1. The utilities are all sized and held within utility corridors, which have been designed and placed, integrated with the urban realm, and trees, underground bins and other street furniture have been placed such that there's no interference with any of the utilities in the future. Northwest Cambridge development has one of the most sustainable non-potable water systems in the country that was set out for phase 1, and we continued to develop that for phase 2. So the essence of the surface water system is that it captures all the surface water runoff from the hard areas. The water is then channeled through the green fingers and captured on the western edge, where it is then held in a series of lagoons which are linked in a chain. The water from the phase 2 and subsequent developments will go down into the existing lagoon that was constructed for phase 1, where there is the pumping station. That surface water will then get pumped back through a non-potable network to serve the residences and other elements of the development for non-potable uses such as toilet flushing and irrigation of gardens in the future. So this makes it an extremely sustainable system within a very water-starved area in the east of England. The lagoons themselves are also linked to the Washpit Brook through pipes that run underneath the landforms, so that should there be exceptionally high rainfall, the lagoons won't flood. That water will then discharge into the Washpit Brook and off. So it's an extremely sustainable system, and we believe that there's nothing of this size that's been constructed in the country. A large amount of work has been done in respect of the earthworks on the site at the moment. There are some rather large mounds of material from phase one. The intention is that as much of that material as possible will be used to form the new mounding on the western edge. Soils where possible will be treated, improved and reused to form allotments and other planting within the site. So again, minimising the amount of material that we may have to remove from the site.
And finally, turning to the timeline, our ambition is to submit the planning application for these works in December 2020, with a target date for the decision in spring 2021. And then we'll have a period for the university internal approvals ahead of works commencing on site after 2021. We're well aware of the impact these works can have on local residents, and we'll be working very, very hard to keep disruption to a minimum during construction. It's expected that works will initially commence from Madingley Road, and at some point we'll need to carry out activities near the existing properties, both within Eddington and properties on Huntington Road near to the proposed access and cycleway. We will ensure the community have advance warning of any works to help minimise impacts, and we will continue to work with the local authorities and affected parties as our plans develop. We would be really, really grateful to hear your comments and your thoughts on the proposals, and those will be taken into account as we develop the designs going forward. Complete the survey, the link is on the board, or email us, and the deadline for getting comments back to us is the 30th of September.